Imagine a world where innocent mothers' joys are stolen away, where the whisper of new life is overshadowed by the shadow of death lurking just around the corner. This film drags us into this nightmare, through the eyes of a pregnant woman, where a journey filled with love, trust, and hope suddenly spirals into a twisted maze of kidnapping, betrayal, and unimaginable cruelty. Hello friends. Today we're going to talk about a disturbing film from 2010 called The Clinic. The movie starts by showing us Cameron, who is on his way to his mother's house with his pregnant fiancée Beth. They aren't married yet, but Beth is writing a note to his mother, saying that this year they're coming to her place for Christmas, and next year she'll have to come to theirs. Suddenly, an unknown truck pulls up behind their car and overtakes them, causing Cameron's attention to divert, and they barely avoid an accident. Cameron tells Beth to let his mom know they'll arrive tomorrow instead, since it's getting late in the evening, and they're going to stop at a hotel. Beth says she doesn't want to stay at a hotel because she's feeling really uneasy, but Cameron convinces her, so they head to a nearby motel. At the reception, Cameron asks for a room for 2 people. The receptionist looks at his fiancée and comments that she's really hot. This makes Cameron feel extremely uncomfortable, but he doesn't say anything. The man then tells Cameron that he'll charge for their unborn baby too, which makes Cameron laugh and say that's not a real rule. The receptionist retorts that if he doesn't want to pay the extra, he can go to the next hotel, which is very far away. With no other options, Cameron books the room there. Later, Beth and Cameron are relaxing by the swimming pool. Cameron tells Beth that their baby is going to be so beautiful. At that moment, a strange couple approaches, stares at them intensely, discusses something quietly and then leaves. Both of them are shocked and wonder why the couple did that. As they lie there, they fall asleep, and Beth has a nightmare where she sees a blood-soaked little girl crying. She wakes up startled and Cameron comforts her, takes her back to the room and tells her to rest. In the middle of the night, Cameron wakes up hungry. He searches the area but finds no restaurants open. He returns to the hotel room only to discover that Beth is missing. He searches everywhere for her but can't find her anywhere. Desperate, he calls the police and files a missing person report for his fiancée. An inspector arrives to investigate the case, and they both go to question the receptionist. The inspector asks Cameron if he has a photo of his wife, and Cameron shows him a picture of Beth. When the inspector shows the photo to the receptionist and asks if he's seen this woman, the man stares at it and says she's very beautiful. This infuriates Cameron, and he tells the inspector that the guy made similar creepy comments about his fiancée earlier. The inspector says he's going inside to investigate further, but the receptionist makes some gesture toward Cameron, which provokes him to attack the man. The inspector arrests Cameron on the spot. The inspector puts Cameron in his car to take him to the police station, and the receptionist taunts him, saying he'll never see his fiancée again. Meanwhile, Beth regains consciousness and finds herself in a bathtub filled with ice. She looks down at her stomach and realizes in horror that it has been cut open and her baby has been removed. She breaks down crying, and nearby she spots a cloth with Roman numerals written on it. She puts it on and escapes the room, discovering that she's in a large facility with multiple rooms, each containing bathtubs. When she tries to get out, she sees it's a massive factory, and escaping seems impossible. She heads to a grated area but it's locked with a padlock. Desperate, she starts digging under the grate but it's embedded too deeply into the ground. No one could get out that way. Overwhelmed by weakness, she passes out right there. When Beth wakes up, she finds 3 other women in front of her who have suffered the same fate, their babies stolen from them. Their names are Veronica, Ivy, and Allison. Veronica, who is a doctor, presses on Beth's stomach to stop the bleeding. Looking at Allison, Beth asks why she's so calm. Veronica explains that Allison has been in shock since losing her baby and hasn't spoken a word since they found her. Suddenly they hear a woman screaming and they all rush toward the sound. They come upon a pool of blood on the floor, which terrifies them, and then they see a woman who has slashed open her own stomach. Before dying, the woman tells them that her baby is blue. They all freeze in shock, wondering why she would say that. On the other side, as the inspector is driving Cameron away, Cameron steals the gun from his pocket and points it at him. He forces the inspector out of the car, handcuffs him to a pole so he can't escape, and drives back toward the hotel in the inspector's vehicle. Back in the facility, the 4 women cover the dead woman's body with some wood scraps, still puzzled by her last words about the blue baby. Veronica, as a doctor, speculates that perhaps the baby had a birth defect that turned its skin blue, and that's what the woman meant. Beth's daughter, or wait no, it's Beth herself, declares that she won't leave without her baby and is going to search for it. She invites the others to join her if they want their babies back too. The four agree and decide to split up to cover more ground. Allison and Ivy go one way, Veronica another, and Beth on her own. Unbeknownst to them, someone is watching them through CCTV cameras. Ivy and Allison find a camera which Allison pockets. Ivy spots some candies and picks them up to eat, causing her to lag behind and separate from Allison. Beth reaches a room filled with numerous photos and she's stunned, wondering whose pictures these are. Alone, Veronica senses someone's presence nearby. Her lantern falls and goes out, and as she tries to relight it, an unseen figure attacks and kills her brutally. Beth hears the scream and rushes over, finding Veronica's body and breaking down in tears. On Veronica's stomach, she discovers a green tag embedded there, realizing that each of them has a differently colored tag in their abdomen. Ivy meanwhile finds the camera with a photo of an unknown woman inside, and she deduces that this woman must be the killer who murdered Allison. Wait, no, actually, Ivy realizes the woman is picking them off one by one to harvest their tags. Cameron arrives back at the hotel and savagely beats the receptionist, demanding to know where Beth is. The man confesses that he always gets calls from a lady who asks about pregnant women staying at the hotel. If there are any, he passes on their information and then they kidnap the women and take them to a facility on the outskirts of town. Hearing this, Cameron releases him and races off toward that location. Back inside, the woman they first encountered, who survived an earlier attack, warns them that the killer woman will pick them off one by one. Suddenly, they hear babies crying and rushing to the room, they find their infants in cages, each with colored tags on their ankles to identify which belongs to whom. But looking at the babies, they're all confused because none resemble them clearly, they can't tell which is theirs. They try to break the cages but the locks won't budge. The surviving woman explains that the killer wants them to do this so she can extract their tags to match the colors and find her own baby. Veronica mentions she saw some tools earlier that could be used to remove the tags from their stomachs. As they head to retrieve them, bloodthirsty dogs appear, chasing them in terror. In the chaos, Beth and Veronica fall into a pit, knocking them unconscious, while Ivy hides inside a container to avoid being mauled. Cameron, driving to the facility, encounters spikes placed on the road, causing his car to flip and crash severely. He bleeds profusely from the accident. That night, Beth dreams again of the bloodied child, waking in a panic. She rouses Veronica and insists they must escape. But Veronica's leg is broken from the fall, so she can't walk. Beth climbs out of the pit and offers her hand, urging her to try, but Veronica slips and falls back down. Beth tells her to wait while she finds something to help pull her up. Once the dogs leave, Ivy emerges from the container, sensing people nearby. She looks around but sees nothing, until she heads for the door and the killer woman attacks her from behind, killing Ivy. The killer then slices open Ivy's stomach to take her tag. When Beth and the others discover Ivy's body, they mark her photo with an X. Searching for supplies, Beth enters room 1 and sees a photo of a lady. Hearing footsteps, she hides as a man enters carrying Ivy's body. He spots her reflection in a mirror and tells her to leave before Miss Shepherd finds out and gets angry. Beth emerges and notices the man acting childlike. She gives him a candy and asks his name. He says it's Duncan. Pointing to the photo, she asks who the lady is and he replies that it's his mother. Spotting keys on him, Beth realizes they might unlock the baby cages. She approaches to take them but Duncan runs. She catches him with words, grabs the keys, then helps pull him out of the pit. She tells him now only she and Veronica are left alive, since Ivy was killed by the woman too. Veronica can't walk, so Beth seats her in an old car, splinting her leg with a board for support. Suddenly, the killer lady rams a car toward them. Beth yanks Veronica out just in time, saving them both. They spot the killer pursuing and flee into a room where Veronica was about to remove her own tag. As Veronica attempts the procedure, the killer shuts off the lights, plunging the room into darkness. Beth searches for a light source so Veronica can continue, but the killer sneaks up, stabs Veronica in the throat, severely injuring her. Beth arrives and attacks the killer, leading to a fierce fight. The killer kicks Beth, slamming her into a wall where a rod impales her body. Beth goes to Veronica, who makes her promise to take care of her baby, then dies. Beth removes Veronica's tag from her stomach. She then approaches the killer, who has crawled into the bathroom. The killer begs Beth to promise to care for her son, saying she'll give her the tag only if she swears. Beth promises to look after the killer's child too. The killer confesses she didn't do this on purpose. A woman told her all the pregnant women had tags and if she killed them all, she'd get her baby back, showing proof with a photo. With that, the killer dies and Beth takes her tag. The people monitoring via CCTV mark the killer woman's photo with an X too. Now alone, Beth heads to the baby room to claim hers, but all the infants are gone. Enraged, she's attacked from behind and knocked unconscious. They drag her to a location where we see the receptionist is involved. She wakes up tied up, facing the same couple from the hotel who stared at them, and the lady who was selling babies. The lady forces her to sign papers, hands over a baby to the couple, and gives the man a gun to kill Beth. She explains that her clients are very picky, so she selects 5 pregnant women, removes their babies surgically. The one who survives to the end gets her baby adopted out. She's been doing this for years and Beth is the first to make it this far. As the man aims to shoot, Duncan bursts in with a gun, pointing it at him and demanding he not kill her. His mother tells him not to, but he says Beth is his friend because she gave him candy. He shoots the man dead. The man fires back, hitting Duncan, who returns fire, killing the man and his wife. Seeing this, the lady grabs a baby and flees. Beth frees herself, picks up the gun and chases her. She finds her baby on a table and scoops it up. The lady arrives with a file, revealing that she herself was adopted this way. Her parents came through the same process, naming them correctly. Beth is stunned and accuses her of lying, but the lady shows the file with photos of Beth's real parents, proving it's true, they adopted her just like this. Beth aims to shoot but the gun is empty. The lady attacks but Beth overpowers her, slashing open her stomach with a scalpel and saying, "Now you know how it feels." The lady dies on the spot. Beth takes her baby and calls the police. A few months later, Beth visits a graveyard, seeing an old man placing flowers. She goes to her biological mother's grave and notices fresh flowers, realizing the man who just left must have placed them. He's likely her real father. She asks a worker who puts flowers there, and he confirms it's the man who left. The worker says he lives nearby, gives her his address, and Beth heads off to meet her father. And with that, the movie ends. So, friends, that was the story of this film, where a lady kidnapped pregnant women, cut their babies out of their stomachs, and the survivor got to have her baby sold to clients. If you liked this video, make sure to let us know in the comments section. You can answer yes or no. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do it now and hit the bell icon for notifications. And for more, you can follow us on Telegram. Friends, we also have a Discord server, so join that too. Don't forget to like and share this video. I'll see you in the next one.